Good evening, and welcome to January 24th, 2019 Valley View School District Board meeting. Mr. Baduris, would you lead us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Pirro, could you please read the affirmation of the Board of Education mission statement?
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, the agenda, please.
Yes, Mr. Zach, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say yea. Aye. The ayes have it. Mr. Gerzafi, the treasurer's report, please.
Treasurer's Action Report 5.1 is the monthly report for December 2018, includes the financial reports of revenue, expenditures, and equity, balance sheets for funds 1 through 8, 11, and 90, summary of revenue and summary of expenditures and encumbrances, as well as the interim obligation payments and the debt service payments for the month of December. Total obligations payable, $5,674,763.67.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Schedule of bills is included in Treasurer's Action Report 5.2, representing the bills for the month of January. We have 7 funds representing $2,488,256.22 for your action this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
We have Treasurer's Information Reports 5.3 through 5.6, summary of investments, property taxes received, state funding update, as well as the All Schools Trust Account activity. If you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time, but they are information only.
Any questions? Thank you, Gary. Consent agenda items, Dr. Mitchum.
I'm asking that the board approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.6, 6.1 board meeting minutes, 12/10/18, 6.2 executive session meeting minutes, 12/10/18, 6.3 gifts to Irene King Elementary School, Hermanson Elementary School, and Bolingbrook High School, 6.4 fiscal year audit 2017-2018, 6.5 resolution number 1913, approving Will County Transportation Consortium, IGA, for contract transportation employee testing services, and 6.6 trips for Bolingbrook and Romeoville High School.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Student and staff recognition. We have the Romeoville Knights of Columbus, Mr. Gary Hoffman, Program Director and Fundraising Chairman. Looks like Gary's bringing money.
There we go. I'm not a very technical person, so. Good evening, distinguished board, President Zach, Brother Knight. It's that time of the year. So we had a couple challenges this past year. Walmart no longer participates or allows solicitors in front of their building in Romeoville. And also, there is no solicitation anymore on Sundays throughout the village. So combine those two things financially, it was about a $3,500 hit. So we did the best we could. We still collected an awful lot of money, which is always a good thing. We're always looking for new locations, but again, there's a lot of limitations to that also. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for participating. I'll be back again next year doing the program again. That will be my 19th year. So I think we got it pretty well under control. We know what we're doing. So with that, I will pass out the checks. The winner this year for the largest amount collected was R.C. Hill. So they got the bonus of $100. So as I call your name, would you please come up here, please? Scoff. Oh. Scoff? I'll do Scoff.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. AVM?
Thank
You cover
so
both
much.
schools,
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you
all
so
right,
much.
very
Much
good.
appreciated. Thank you.
I'll be calling AVM, make sure to get that check
I
tomorrow
will.
morning. Irene King. Irene King. R.C. Hill. Congratulations. Thank you. And RHS. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Again, thank you. I always address this program. It's free money to the schools. All the Knights ask is a little support from the schools, and the sky's the limit. So again, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Gary, thank you so much. Just so everybody knows that Gary is not a one-man show, but Gary probably spends most of Friday and most of Saturday out there. So we do appreciate what you do. Thank you. The National Board Certified Teachers, presenting Ms. Mary Worcester, Executive Director of Student Services, and Ms. Chris Rudy, BHSAP.
If I may, as the educators are making their way down, I'd like to tell everyone a little bit about National Board Certification, just for your own knowledge and how prestigious this certification is. National Board Certification was designed to develop, retain, and recognize accomplished teachers. The National Board organization has standards that they have developed and believe all teachers should know and be able to do. This certification process requires that educators demonstrate standards in evidence-based ways, the positive effects that they're having on student learning in alignment with those 5 propositions. And so they need to develop a deep understanding of their students, their content knowledge, their use of data, and assessment and teaching practice. They undergo rigorous reflection, videotaping, and examination in this endeavor, and they must show that they participate actively in their learning communities. They do this voluntarily, and I think that speaks very highly for the dedication that they have to their profession. So congratulations to both of you this evening. Executive Director Worcester, I'll leave it to you.
Good evening, members of the community, distinguished school board members, and senior leadership. Tonight, Chris Ruddy, Assistant Principal of Bolingbrook High School, and I I would like to recognize 2 Bolingbrook High School teachers who have successfully become National Board Certified Educators, Carrie Loftus and Danielle Leonard. Carrie Loftus currently co-teaches in Bolingbrook High School's English department. She and her partner, Nicole Dahl, strive to engage their students with creative lessons, a positive class culture, and a genuine belief that all students can be successful. Carrie never shies from opportunities to connect with kids. She is often working late with students, whether it's tutoring students in preparation for exams and projects, or dedicating her personal time to organize events like BHS's prom. Danielle Leonard currently teaches in Bolingbrook High School's resource program. As a BHS veteran teacher who has been with the school and district for over 10 years, Danny has worked alongside her partner, Christina Johnson, to completely reform BHS's resource programming. As a masterful differentiator, Danny consistently assesses students' readiness and adjusts her instruction to make sure her students are more prepared to face school's challenges each day. We cannot overstate how proud we are of their most recent accomplishments. National Board Certification is a difficult process that is reserved for the most impassioned and hardworking educators. Thank you for joining us and recognizing these 2 great educators tonight.
Okay. The Pillar of the Valley View, presented by Bolingbrook High School Principal Dr. Piscavage.
Jason Pascavage, proud principal of Bolingbrook High School. Today we are going to present the Valley View, Pillar of Valley View for our Bolingbrook High School. Dean Arlene Lackings has been chosen for the BHS Pillar, not only for her dedication to our district, but for her beliefs. She's a staff member that will go to the end of the earth to find a way to help one of her students. She has done this in a variety of positions within the district. Dean Lackings is in her 15th year at BHS. She understands what it takes for our students to get to their ultimate potential. She's a staff member that believes in our kids and does her very, very best to make their today better than their yesterday. Our pillar, Dean Arlene Lackings.
Next, we have the liaison reports. The Bolingbrook High School Student Liaison Report will be first.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and community. My name is Kazim Niaz, and I am a senior at Bolingbrook High School. It has truly been an excellent start to the semester. This past Thursday, all students attended their respective class meetings led by our school administrators. In these meetings, students were offered a note of encouragement so that they can have a successful semester and self-reflect the goals they have set for themselves. Our AP teachers have also been working diligently to ensure students are ready to take their exams in May by focusing on areas where students can excel. Speaking of teachers, I would like to give a special shout out to Mr. John Flynn, who is in the crowd today. He is an AP US history teacher and economics teacher. And his optimism and teaching style truly reflects that each student has the potential to grow. And I'm extremely grateful to know him not only as a teacher, but a mentor and a friend as well. It was truly an amazing experience to be a part of his classroom for both AP US History and Economics. On Cameron's behalf, our other student liaison, who unfortunately was not able to make it tonight, I would also like to recognize Ms. Franick, a teacher in our science department, who is also in the crowd. If we can get a round of applause for her as well. And these teachers do show dedication to our school. For our juniors, who will be taking the SAT in a few months, their homerooms will be a place where they can prepare using Khan Academy and with teachers in the areas they need improvements. In our library, the new huddle rooms also enable students to have group study sessions or even one-on-one tutoring sessions with extensions on time, something we did not have before. We will be working over the next few months to offer student-led tutoring sessions as well to help out any student in any particular subject. And before I finish off, I would like to introduce Angel Lee, who is also our student liaison here tonight. Thank you so much.
Greetings, my name is Angel Lee, and I have a long report tonight, so I apologize in advance. For starters, I would like to propose an additional health class. Don't get me wrong, this district has exceptional staff and curriculum in regards to the health department, but there's always room for improvement. As of recent years, depression, anxiety, and suicide have become a prominent concern, especially in the lives of young adults, and there has been a couple of flare-ups of these incidents in Bolingbrook as well. Thus, I feel it is critical to incorporate a mental health class. Schools in New York have already welcomed this addition and saw a drastic improvement in the overall health of the students and willingness to seek help if needed. I propose that in order to test the success of this instruction, we should send counselors into homerooms 2 to 3 days a week in May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, to teach mindfulness, stress-reducing techniques, signs of depression, etc. If this proves to be successful, we should go forth in introducing this class and allow it to be accounted for as PE credit. Moving along, I would also like to discuss final exemptions during the first semester. In Bolingbrook High School, we cannot help but notice a flaw in the way that final exemptions work. Those who take a semester-long class have to take a final for their class during the first semester, but those who take the exact same class in the second semester do not have to. This is a bit problematic because if the class is only a semester long, students, if meeting the proper requirements, which is an 83% or above, should be able to be exempt from taking the final regardless of what semester they took the class in, to be a bit more fair and logical. Restricting final exemptions to the second semester only encourages students to take that class in the second semester, leaving first semester classes emptier and second semester classes fuller. Now that suggestions are over, I would like to recognize a phenomenal student and teacher, Brooke Benford, a student who sadly could not be here today, is a quintessential student and friend. Throughout the entire first semester, Brooke has been such a prevailing force within her classes. I witnessed her have a complete emotional breakdown due to stress, but she is resilient as she has completely dominated her classes, including AP Calculus BC, receiving A's and B's. On top of that, her benevolence is warming to those around her as she brings out the best in each person and situation she is in. Brooke is an overall inspiration. Moreover, I would like to recognize a teacher who is here, Mrs. Michelle Bonanno. Mrs. Bonanno is most definitely within the top 3 best teachers Bolingbrook High School has to offer. She is always available for her students academically and emotionally. I can trust her to offer great advice on any problem I am going through, and she always speaks to her students in a way that assures them that they do not have to face any difficulty alone. She is passionate about every lesson she teaches, making it difficult to not give her your undivided attention. Additionally, she has faith in all of her students, even when they do not have faith in themselves, which enables us to be more motivated and confident in our knowledge and abilities. She is interactive in her teaching style and adjusts the way our class goes based on what will increase our retention and interest in the subject at hand. Her humor and caring nature also adorns her lasting impact on students. Mrs. Bonanno, I am so grateful that I have had you my first and last years at Bolingbrook High School because it has been amazing to see you incessantly improve your magnificence as a teacher. You challenge me and inspire me every day, and you have officially solidified my decision in majoring in psychology. Thank you for all that you do. Finally, I would like to close off by saying that Bolingbrook's National Honor Society has a fundraiser on Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. at Panera Bread on West Boughton Road in Bolingbrook. Please support us as we are using the money to go towards scholarships for within our program. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Romeoville.
Good evening. My name is Katrina Cotton. Tonight, our reports are going to focus on the following areas of our district's strategic plan. Our goal is to provide a safe and optimal learning environment, advancing partnerships with our families and communities, and including our core values such as continuous improvement, collaboration, self-esteem, and accountability. So first, RHS students are getting into their normal routines after winter break. AP students are continuing to sign up for AP exams and prep for their AP exams. New at RHS this year is AP Council. So what we're trying to do with AP Council is create a community within our school of AP students. So we are encouraging non-AP students to join AP classes and raising awareness of what it means to be in an AP class and what kind of benefits you can receive from being in AP classes. We have different subcommittees in AP Council, one of which is our fundraising committee. Right before winter break during our finals week, we had a fundraiser in our library where we had a bake sale and hot cocoa. And this fundraiser is to raise money to fund scholarships for AP students so that they can actually afford to take AP tests. Because only students that have free or reduced lunch can receive the test for $15, while all other students have to pay $93 per test, which can add up to a lot of money if you're taking several AP courses, which many students do. In addition, our AP Council, and to create a community, does things like movie nights, which we're actually hosting this Friday, to award AP students for all the hard work they did for a semester. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Alyssa Justolero. You can call me AJ. So I would like to backtrack over towards right before winter break starts, so somewhere in December, where the music department, including both band and choir, had various performances right before, usually our winter concerts by the end of December. We also hosted our Madrigals dinner, so I would also like to thank you all who attended the Madrigals dinner. I would say that it was a pretty entertaining night for those who came. I would just say thank you so much for supporting the music department. And now Madrigals is going to transition into vocal jazz now, so feel free to always attend the jazz night, which should be in a few months. We are also preparing for our school musical, which is The Addams Family. Tickets will be out to buy soon. It's March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, and 9th. So if you are interested in seeing our theater group perform, you can always come and see that. And so later this month, specifically Thursday on the 17th, it's going to be freshman orientation night. And so basically that's where we will welcome future Spartans into our school. There will be a lot of students from RHS showing incoming freshmen what it's like to be involved as a Romeoville Spartan. And so basically all different clubs will come in and they will basically introduce what it's like to be in high school, what a high school schedule can look like, what available clubs will be there and what they can join. They will be just exposed to a lot more than they would be in middle school, I would say. So thank you, and have a good evening.
Good evening, board. My name is Daniel McRaven, and I would like to end our report by mentioning the fact that at RHS, recently we are incorporating all clubs and activities with the opportunity of painting a Spartan head, courtesy of our print shop located, our Valley View School District print shop located right next to our school. This one that I'm displaying here tonight is made courtesy of Art Club. So we would just like to shine light on the fact that we are offering this opportunity to 4 different clubs and the chance to paint a mural as well, which will be displayed in our cafe hallway. These murals will be rotated out on a regular basis so that all clubs have the opportunity to create a mural as well as get awareness and attention for their respective club. We will bring pictures of the artwork as well as the murals next time at our next meeting. In addition, we just like the fact that our school is incorporating elements in regards to showing pride. And yeah, that's it. So thank you and good night.
Thank you. Board member liaison report from my left.
Yes. On December 20th, the District Handbook Committee met to work on handbooks for the 2019-2020 school year, and this is for all academic levels. So everybody within the district will be working on their handbook, getting it ready for next year.
From my right. Audience participation. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? If so, please state your name. Remember that due to time restraints, you have 5 minutes. Superintendent Action Report. Dr. Mitchum?
No report. Excuse me?
Student due process.
Oh, the due process, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, I'd like to ask that the board approve student due process cases A through F as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
No.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Action report. Ms. Kinder?
Yes, sir. Action Report 11.1 is presenting one board policy for your approval this evening. This is Board Policy 280, Board Member Oath and Conduct. This was reviewed by legal in accordance with state guidelines and the legal parameters, and we're presenting it for your approval this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Action reports, Mr. Gersafi. Action reports, Dr. Nash.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Zach. This evening for Action Report 13.1, which is our consolidated action report, we are seeking your approval on 43 items for certified personnel, 52 items for classified personnel, 2 items for classified administrative personnel, and 1 item for certified administrative personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Action Report 13.2 is the AFSCME contract ratification. We are recommending your approval this evening for the proposed changes to the contractual agreement between the Board of Education of the Valley View Community Unit School District 365U and the Local 3057 American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. These changes will be ratified and incorporated into the contractual agreement that will control the terms and conditions of employment beginning with the 18-19 school year and extending through the 2021 school year. The members of this organization ratified these changes in a vote held on December 17th of 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Action Report 13.3, we are seeking your approval of the resolution number 1914, authorizing the dismissal of an educational support personnel employee for reasons other than reduction in force.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Superintendent information reports.
I'll take the first one. Information report 14.1 is a job description for a stipend position of school psychologist intern. This position previously existed in the district and was phased out in the 2014-15 school year. We plan to seek approval of this job description at the January 28th, 2019 board meeting.
Okay. Alice, safety contract approval.
Can I ask a question about that? For that stipend, the internship, how long is that person hold that job? Is it for a year? Is it a year contract? And how long do they normally, like even if it's a year contract, do they only get it for a year or can they renew it?
Yes, ma'am. It's only for a year. It's a one-year internship that is provided within their scope of education within their master's degree program. So it's only for 1 year, and it's not something that's renewable. It's just for the 1 year.
Other questions? Thank you.
Good evening, distinguished members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, district staff, and community members. On May 14th, I stood before you and provided an information report discussing the district's intention to pursue a options-based approach to armed intruders and active shooters within the district. The approach we selected was ALICE, the ALICE philosophy. It wasn't a singular decision, it was a group decision, long discussed and debated, but this is also in direct response to the recommendations from not only the Secret Service, FEMA, Homeland Security, and the Illinois School Security Task Force. Our goal is to adopt a new strategy for lockdown procedures. The ALICE acronym itself stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. This philosophy utilizes technology and information in a way that both staff and students can make informed decisions during a crisis and remove as many staff and students from a critical incident. ALICE provides scenario-based training so that those individuals involved in a critical incident have a greater chance of surviving the encounter through an options-based approach and mitigating any type of casualties and/or loss to the district. A full implementation plan is in development, and information will be shared with the administrators throughout the entire district, as well as district staff, and to the board as well, with a very specific timeline, communication plan, and other key pieces of information. So rather than regurgitate a lot of the information that's already been provided to you, I'll hit specific dates. If this contract is approved by the board, as of February 1st, we'll be moving to implement the video online, training for our administrators and a few select staff members. That training is to be completed by February 11th on the online version. And then for those same individuals that started the online training, February 11th, 13th, and 15th, we will provide scenario-based training to our district administrators and again to select members from the special education department as well. But on April 2nd, our next Institute Day, the entire district staff will actually take the 1 hour online training as well. We've talked to both ALICE and with our IT department, and we have the capabilities of ensuring that the entire staff can actually take the training on that particular day without any incident or any failure within our system itself. We have the capabilities. Next school year, August 12th and August 13th, the entire district staff will receive the scenario-based training with regards to the ALICE philosophy. What this involves is 2.5-hour sessions at 500 staff members in each particular group. It's been suggested that we utilize Bolingbrook High School for the entire Bolingbrook district staff, and then we'll use Romeoville High School, Derek, I hate to let you know this at the last second, for the entire Romeoville staff. And then that way we're better able to utilize the resources and not take up an entire building for 2 days. With that, I simply ask that you take this under advisement, and I hope that you approve the contract with the next board meeting. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
After the initial trainings are done, is there continuous training?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
How often is the continuous?
We'll do it every year. And then per the new state law, we are actually required to have active shooter training now, which incorporates evacuations as well.
How often throughout the year?
Well, we actually go above and beyond as far as our training is required, or our drills, excuse me, are required. But we're only required to do it once a year.
And are those drills, are they, I know what the lockdown drills used to be like. Are they done in a similar fashion where the whole school building does the drill?
What we can do is a couple of things. They are similar in the sense that we can focus at one point on just doing the evacuations. At one point, we can focus on securing ourselves in place, and then providing the options of barricading as well, which is elements of the Alice philosophy. Or you can incorporate all three with particular
So
trainings.
it can be broken down into 3 phases, or it can be put all together, or
Yes,
all
ma'am.
of the above?
Yes, ma'am. Are there any other questions from members of the board? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the intergovernment agreement and license agreement with the Village of Romeoville.
In your packet, there are 2 documents, the first being an IGA, or intergovernmental agreement, containing language regarding the development of the ball fields, specifically at Romeoville High, and references the execution of a license between Valley View and the village. There is also language contained within the IGA regarding the modular building at RHS currently being used for our transportation annex. The second attachment is a license agreement between the village and the district, which stipulates the terms of cooperative redevelopment and use of those same fields. There are several benefits to partnering with the village on this project. The bidding and construction would be handled by the village, although the district will have a primary role in construction oversight. Stormwater detention requirements may be eased a bit with the village's involvement, and with them as a partner, they're willing to pitch in additional resources to provide a Class A facility, providing for amenities such as lighting of the fields. We reviewed these exhibits with our legal team, and inherent within the exhibits, they see that there would be nothing that would prohibit us from proceeding with this type of arrangement, albeit it is very unique. Basically, the agreement gives the village some interest in the project. The reason I'm bringing this forward is to determine if the board is open to this type of arrangement. From the administration's perspective, we have no concerns, having had several meetings, both in committee as well as at the village, and we feel like the only thing left really would be to work out some of the legal concerns expressed by our legal team, but nothing that would prevent us from entering into this arrangement. So at this time, I'm really just interested in any sort of feedback or questions you might have.
I have a couple questions. One is, do we still have priority over the usage of the fields, whether it be practice or games?
Yes, we would retain first priority and for all school-based events, first and foremost.
And second of all, in the section that was labeled village marketing assistance that brought into a third-party usage, the third party would be paying for the usage, and that would be for the upkeep of the fields, help with that. Who gets that money, the village or the district?
The discussion around that point was they felt it would be worth investigating bringing in a professional to market the fields to maximize usage and revenue, non-village revenue, if you will, and somebody who's adept in promoting field use, not only within the region, but throughout the country. They feel like this field, this complex, could be a shining star, bringing a lot of tourism, if you will, and recognition to the village of Romeoville and the high school as well.
So who gets the money? Does the village get the money, or does the district get the money from that third-party usage?
The district would receive the money, but if they hired this outside third party, we would have to cover the cost of that.
Other third party.
Out of those revenues, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
If
Then we,
if there are no further questions, next steps in this process would be to work with our legal department to make sure that our interests are represented to the best that they can be. That was the one thing they pointed out, is that the way this was written initially was certainly favoring the village. No surprise, since they drafted both agreements. But again, we made sure that there was nothing in here that would prohibit us from moving forward with this type of unique arrangement. And so we'll work towards that and bring it back, hopefully, at our next board meeting.
I have a question. Will there be areas for people to park? If there's going to be, if this is going to be widely recognized and a lot of usage, is there going to be additional parking?
Right now, we don't have any additional parking built in, but there's adequate parking on the campus of Romeoville for any sort of, even if there are 4 events going on, two baseball, 2 softball at the same time, there would be adequate parking. We have parking on the auditorium side, a very large parking area there, as well as behind the school, as well as the front of the school. So there's adequate parking.
okay, next we have the TIF extension with the Village of Romeoville.
The village has approached us to solicit support for the extension of the downtown TIF. Real quickly, a TIF is known as a tax increment financing district. It's a tool that a community would use to generate money for economic development in a specific geographic area. TIFs allow a community to reinvest all new property tax dollars, not existing tax dollars, into the neighborhood from which they came for a 23-year period. TIF funds must only be spent within a TIF district. Those projects are not funded with property taxes. The formula is that revenues generated by the original taxable value will continue to go to the taxing entities throughout the life of the TIF district. That would be us. As property values increase due to TIF-financed improvements, so does tax revenue generated by the district as a whole. This increases the increment, which again pays for the infrastructure improvements. The downtown TIF was established in 2005. Primarily, the reason for the request for the extension for an additional 12 years is due to the economic downturn and the response to the weak economy, specifically from 2007 through 2012. And so the village feels like it needs to provide a long-standing or long-term benefit to anybody who is interested in bringing improvements to that downtown Spartan Square area. In consideration for supporting the TIF, which is somewhat required so they can pursue legislative approval, the village is committed to declaring a 20% surplus to be returned annually over the 12-year extension to the taxing districts, of which we are one. I looked this over, met with the village manager, and I really don't have any concerns with the request for the extension. Everything that they have done in all 5 of the TIF districts throughout the village, they followed a plan, land usage plan, very little deviation over the years since I've been here. And so it's nice to see that they have a long-term plan and they follow it pretty well. So if the board is receptive to the request, we'll bring it back to a future board meeting for an official approval.
Thank you, Gary. Then fiscal 2019 School Improvement Grant 1003A.
Yes, thank you. Information report 14.5 tonight, in sharing information with you regarding this federal grant, Title I School Improvement Grant 1003A. Valley View has an opportunity to apply for school improvement grant funds and approximately $160,000 to support specific subgroups in our schools through the remainder of the 18-19 school year. These funds recently became available through the implementation of Illinois State's ESSA plan. ESSA stands for the Every Student Succeeds Act, and I've shared some information with you regarding how the state is reviewing data in terms of performance of all of our students as well as our subgroups of students in terms of proficiency, growth, chronic absenteeism and graduation rate, and English language learner progress to proficiency. To comply with state regulations for accessing these funds, each of our schools has completed a needs assessment and undergone a thorough review of the ESSA data. These steps are allowing the teams to make an informed work plan, which we will bring back for approval, to implement procedures and highly impactful strategies to impact priority focus areas for 2 specific subgroups for English learners, as well as students with IEPs or individualized education programs. The 6 schools that are applying for this grant are currently in the final stages of completion, and we'll bring those to the board for approval at the January 28th meeting, as is the state's requirement to bring forward through the Board of Education.
Any questions? Thank you. Legal service. Any report?
I have no report other than to congratulate Carter Larry on his election as Vice President of the Northern Illinois School Safety Administrators Association.
AFT, any report? Valley View Council, any report? Valley View Office Personnel Council, any report? No report. Thank you. Any and old business from the board? Any new business from the board? Any questions from the public on any actions that we have taken tonight? Any announcements from the board? Any announcements from the administration?
Yes, I'd like to publicly thank Stephanie Donovan, who has been one of our legal partners with Tressler LLP. She has taken on a new position, and so I understand that John will be looking for a replacement, but I wanted to, on behalf of the board, the administration, wish Stephanie well and Godspeed.
Any announcements from the public? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you for attending tonight's school board meeting.